Hello and welcome back to Mr. Hackathon's app reviews. Today we will be reviewing another metaverse. This time it's called Gather, or what I believe was called Gather Town, but it says Gather right here. And Gather is a hybrid between a game and a Zoom call. Again, this will make much more sense as we go on. So you can host conferences, you can host regular conversation with friends, you can host Zoom calls, all in Gather. You create this virtual world that people use an avatar to walk through, but you can also see people's videos. There's different sections that are limited to different types of people, or different spaces that are limited to certain types of people. As you can see here, you have social rooms. Social rooms might be only accessible to people, so to certain types of people. You have presentation areas, and you can create all these different rooms with different experiences, and users can interact with objects in very, very unique ways. I think this is an amazing tool, and what we're actually going to do today is we are going to create a virtual world. We're going to create our own metaverse. So what we want to do is launch Gather. And what I want to do is add this menu. I want to create a new space. So I'm creating a new space, and I can either start from a template and manipulate the template. As you can see, there's all these different types of templates. The space I want to create is a social space. So as you can see, you can create a new space. You can create conference spaces, but I'm going to create a social space. So I'm just taking a look at what the social spaces look like, and I'm going to make one. So what I'm going to do is start from blank, and you can create an empty room. If we scroll down, you can create from my home space. I made a place called Otherworld. So what we're going to do is create from 45 by 45 room. We're going to name the space. Let's see. Let's call it Hackerspace. I'm not going to have it password protected. I'm going to build it for friends and family, and I am going to create the space. It allows me to create my own avatar, and I can make more adjustments to the avatar. See, I can change the clothing, change the hair. So what I'm going to do is change my name to Mr. Hackathon and go next. As you can see, my mic is connected and my camera is connected. I'm going to join the gathering. So what I have now, and I'm pressing the arrow keys, I am moving about in my space. But as you can see, there is nothing in my space right now. It's just an empty space. So what I want to begin to do is add things to my space. So to add things to your space, you want to click build. And you want to start building by opening the object picker. And then you're going to see all these different types of objects you can add to your space. So let's just add arcade cabinet to the space. And as you can see, when you click on the arcade cabinet, you have options. You can change the color. So let's have it this dark green. And you can add an interaction. So this will make more sense in a little bit, but when someone can actually interact with the object that you put in the world, you can either embed a website in when they click on the object, or you can embed an image, video. You can add a note, but we're not going to add an interaction for now. So you see this arcade object here, and to drop the object, I just press spacebar, and it dropped the object. To come out of build mode, I just click that. Now I have this object. The only problem with this object right now is that I can walk straight through this. So see, I can walk all over this object, and we probably don't want that for an object. So what we can do is edit in Map Maker and add more refined details to our world. So what I want to do, and if we click and scroll, we can see our object right here. And you can either add objects in this map maker, or you can do it directly in this workspace here. But what you want to do is add tiles. So Gather gives you different tiles. As you can see, impossible is you can't walk through this tile. This is actually the tile we want to use. So I don't want people to be able to walk through my arcade. You have spawn tile, which is here. You can see the spawn tiles. It drops people here when they start. You have a teleport tile, so that can take you from one room to another room. You have private space tiles where you can create private spaces where where it limits who can access that space. And you have a spotlight tile where whoever stands on the spotlight can be seen and heard by everybody. And that might, and just thinking about saying that might not make a lot of sense. So in Gathertown, when two people are in close proximity, as you can see, I have my my camera here. When two people are in close proximity, that's the only time they can see or hear each other, just like in real life. When someone is far away from you at the other side of the map, you can't see and hear them. As you can see now, what we have to do is click save. So we created our impossible tile. So what happens now is that I can't walk through this. This is just a solid block I can't walk through. And I probably want to create another one right here. Save it again. So now I can't walk through this. What we want to do is to start to build our real map. So what I want to do is to erase. So I'm going to erase that if I can. So I erased it. And I'm going to start by making the outside bounds I'm going to make the outside bounds for my, let's see. I'm going to make the outside bounds for my map. So just to figure out how we did that. Oh, I think we did that by... Okay. So we want to go back just so I can show you what I did. So I'm going to refresh that so my arcade disappears because I erased that. So what we want to do is to create our space, and to do that I have to make walls, and to make walls what I want to do is update background. I want to draw my own background. If I zoom out, and so what I want to do is to create wall tiles. What we're actually going to do is, with this background, I said we was going to add walls, but we're not going to add walls because it's easier. I found it's easier to upload a background image that has your walls, but we are going to add a floor. We're going to add floor tiles. So let's just add a huge space of floor tiles. So when they spawn into our room, they're going to spawn right here. And we have all these floor tiles. What we also want to do, and we want to save that. So now we have all these floor tiles on the floor. What we want to do is add a wall that doesn't let them. We want to add this impossible tile that doesn't let them leave. And again, I think it's easier to actually upload a background image. You can make an Illustrator, in Photoshop, a lot of different platforms you can make these background images. So what we're doing is just creating space that they can't leave. Right now I'm actually having trouble continuing to add tile. But just to show you what that looks like, if I save this and I go back, I can see I've added all this space. Zoom out. And I can't leave this area. I'm not allowed to leave this area. So this is a huge room to have. So we're just going to work in a corner of this room. And what we're going to do is we're just going to build some objects. I'm going to go to Object Picker, and I'm just going to show you some different stuff. So what's interesting here is we can add furniture. We can add a bar, armchair, coffee table, couch. So I want to add a coffee table. Has no interaction right now. So like I said, this is a huge space. So we're going to work with a corner of this room. How to position this. We're just gonna throw that there. You can make your own changes as you please. We want to add some furniture. So let's add an armchair or two. So I'll add an armchair right here. Add an armchair right next to it. One of the troubles is it's not that easy to control in this builder, but I believe I believe if you decide to build using this, it's a lot easier. So we go to objects. If we pull up the armchair, it allows you to just drop the object there. So let's say we have 3 or 4 armchairs. And I actually don't like that. So we're going to erase that. We're going to erase this, and maybe even this. So what we're going to do is add an armchair here. So we got 2 armchairs, and I want to add a table. I'm going to add a bookshelf. So we're going to take a small section. We're going to take a small section of our space. And we're going to turn it into a mini coffee shop. What we also want to add is maybe we put the flower pot right here in between. And we also want to grab a table. Let's say furniture. I'm looking for a big wooden table. So maybe this table will do. I want the table a little bigger than that. Yeah, I think this one will do. So we added our table. Lastly, what I'm going to do is add a piano and show you what that's like. So I'm going to go to, I think it's appliance. So I'm going to add a piano. I'm going to turn that piano around. And now what we're going to do is save this. We're going to add some tiles. And I don't want them to be able to walk all over the bookshelf. I don't want, that's wrong. So let me remove that. So I want them to be able to sit in the chair. I don't want them to be able to walk on the plant. I don't want them to be able to walk over the table. And I don't want them to just be able to walk all over the piano either. And maybe I extend it a little bit further. So if we save that, what we will actually see is we go to our space. Now in our space, we have our bookshelf, we have our table, we have our, you can sit down. And this is interesting. So we're going to go to play the piano. This is an interactive object. So we can play it. And this is one of the great things about Gather. You can play games inside Gather. So what we're going to do is turn the sound on. And right now it's just me. And we have a shared piano that we can play with. Now I'm actually, and all this is if we go back to objects, open object picker, that was a custom object made by somebody. We go to piano, and it's embeddable website. So if we go to that, it's auto-generated, but it's connected to somebody has made this and connected it to a website. So you can actually embed websites and embed games and embed different stuff that people can play collaboratively. We can add a projector screen and we can add an interaction. So let's just add a projector screen. And let's take this projector screen. Let's just add it slightly off. So I'm going to add two things. I'm going to add a projector screen, and I'm going to add a sign. So let's say wayfinding. A cafe sign. And I'm going to say no object. And I'm going to write, I have to give it a distance where you can activate the sign. So I'm going to say, and I'm going to say, this is my first metaverse. So when I put the sign down, put it right here somewhere. And if I go back, when I come close to this, I can press X and it says, this is my first metaverse. You can create signs that people can interact with and they can see information. Right here, we didn't make this interactive, but let's add another projector screen, but make it interactive. So we want to, let's just type. Let's type embedded video and let's find a video. Embed. So I'm just going to open this. And the activation distance can be 1. And so I'm going to add this projector screen right here. So I'm going to go back and I'm going to interact. And it opens up the video and it allows us to access and watch the video.
Intellectual.
So we can actually watch this collaboratively with other people, which is the awesome thing about it.
The question was then, what is the law of relationship between the atoms? Between the fundamental.
As you can see, when I come near this comes up in the left and it starts to play a preview. I go away and it disappears. What we can do is add events and customize the calendar. We can add events and different messages for people in our space. We can limit access to the space. We can assign user roles and allow people to be moderators. We can allow a global build to allow anybody to build. One thing that I do think would be awesome is if I can assign users to be able to build certain spaces. And I'm sure you could probably, with some hacking, you could probably work out a way around that and to be able to do that. We can change our name. We can change the speed of the movement. I think Gather is really amazing. I think it's worth you checking out, worth you building spaces. I am going to begin to build a lot more spaces in Gather. Let me know, what kind of world would you build in Gather? What kind of communities would you host in here? What are the possibilities for you and your community and the events that you would host in this virtual world, in this metaverse? Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know. Let me know what you think about this platform. Let me know other platforms that you might be checking out.